Thanks for joining us, guys. We're about to start an Accelerate session, my favorite session of the month, where I get to interview someone doing a really good job in the fitness industry. And I think, whilst there's a lot of distractions on YouTube and Instagram, and you sort of sense that a business is doing well, like a restaurant or a fitness business, sometimes you really don't know. And I think one of the best ways I personally learn is by just chatting to people in the industry and trying to share ideas. So I'm super excited to have some old friends on the call today. Welcome, Ellie and Sami and Mahoney.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for
Hi,
having us.
Steve. Hi, everyone, for having us.
So I had the opportunity to work with Ellie. Ellie was a personal trainer in a studio of ours in Monavale in Sydney. I want to say 15 years ago. I can't be that old, can I? Um,
It's coming up. Yeah, it's around 16 years.
can you guys, for people that haven't met you before, what sort of, like, we're going to talk about Strong Pilates, we're going to talk about what you're doing now, but before that, what were you guys doing that, got you to this point in terms of like sport or career?
So we grew up dancing pretty seriously, competitively with Lee Academy on the Central Coast. I thank my mum still that it was probably the best thing she ever did was get us into dancing with this team of incredible people that we are still so close with. So every weekend we were at different comps. We used to go to City of Sydney to push us. So we weren't always winning, to actually push us to that next level. Our dance teacher, Joe, is probably one of our mentors of who we look up to still to this day. We had weights on our ankles doing buoyancy exercises and that type of training for our dance groups. And I think then we found that connection, passion, and love for the anatomy and all that it can do. So I do find that a lot of dancers or sportsmen actually do go into the avenue of fitness businesses. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely what we've taken to.
And you guys are sisters. What's the age gap between you?
Yes.
Sammy loves this question.
I'm the older one. I'm 3 years older.
Yeah. And it's amazing that you're working together. I know there's like husband and wife teams often in business. Obviously good that you can rely on someone. You've got someone that's as vested as you are sort of in the business. What about yourself, Ellie? What's your sort of background for anyone that hasn't met you before?
Yeah, so my background always, pretty sporty through school. It was always like PE, dance, drama, that was always my top subjects, which gave me that lead of, where am I going to go? I never put the pressure on myself of like, what am I going to do for my career? I let the universe guide me in that way. And definitely, as Sammy said, it was the dancing, it was listening to the music, being part of a team, having that community, having those competitions. I think growing up from the age of 5 and then doing it professionally, to the point where I think we both kind of decided that doing it as a career was going to be a different path, which led me to actually leaving school early. I dropped out of school because I just knew I wanted to get into the workforce, and I wanted to get into study, which led me to going to Australian Institute of Fitness. And I remember writing down of what career I kind of wanted to go in, and my two lists, I had a yes and a no. And personally, it was like, no, working with children. I want to work with people face to face, not via email all the time. I want to be with music, and it just led me to going, to study in the fitness industry. And I thought, look, why not? And I absolutely loved it. I did the fast track master trainer course, and which luckily led me to you, Steve, and getting that amazing scholarship to work full time as soon as I got out of the fitness course, and started working as a personal trainer at the age of 17. So now have been in the industry my whole life. And here I am, half of my life, pretty much. Now I'm telling you my age. And then, and here we are today, still in it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is definitely something if you've got an interest in fitness or health yourself, or if you've had a back injury, you often get treatment from a chiropractor and you go into learning how to be a chiropractor. And I share a similar sort of story where I just loved keeping fit, and I guess I'm interested in sort of helping others. You've met my wife Anna. She was in the police for 12 years, and she just said, you know, it's definitely something where you feel like you can add value, but you also have to deal with like a lot of scumbags day to day. It is kind of nice doing what we do, where you get to go and just, you
Yeah,
know, help
definitely.
people feel good. It's their little escape from their cubicle each day.
And I think now, like Steve, to be honest, it's just so grateful to be here and speaking to you today because you have been such a big role model for me from the beginning. You know, having you had that faith, you pushed me, you know, at the time of getting out of my comfort zone. And you know, even watching you and Anna be in the industry and where you are today, doing still being in the fitness industry and working with the network is something that I've always followed. So well done to you too.
Oh, that's very generous. I appreciate the kind words. Um, I want to talk a bit about your businesses. So you've got two businesses. We're going to talk largely or predominantly around sort of strong Pilates today. But can you tell us a little bit about Peachy Fit? This is a business that's been going longer. Tell us about this business and how that sort of come about.
Here we go. Okay, well, Peachy Fit started before Ellie had even moved up to Byron Bay. Ellie was a personal trainer at Virgin Active Gym at the time, and I went down to visit her a couple of times. And to be honest, like I know I'm biased, sister, but I was really blown away with the classes that she did and how she did her personal training. I came back to Byron Bay, and at the time, I'm talking 11 years ago, there wasn't necessarily a lot on offer here. And I thought, no, we need to be the fitness chicks in Byron. No one is doing it the way you're doing it. So we had the business cards, the business before Ellie had even got here. Peachy Fit started with me offering just free outdoor group fitness sessions around the coastal, around what it goes around the coastal areas here. And then Ellie moved up because I was pregnant. So that was a pretty good draw card. I got my PT back and we started doing remote personal training sessions, driving around to people's homes, and then also started the boot camps until we had our first little PT studio within the industrial estate, which was only about 40 square meters. So we would only ever do one or two PTs in there at a time. But then we found a niche where it was just that, an exclusive space to train with only yourself, your trainer, and maybe another. We had the basics. Ellie knew
Okay.
exactly what rack, what TRX, like we knew exactly what we wanted. And from there, we've grown our clientele base. We've now been operational for 7 years. Through the two pandemics, had to go Peachy online, and boot camps, and our PT studio, yeah, still exists.
And still from that time that I left Sydney and obviously becoming an auntie and wanting to train my sister through pregnancy, which is one of my favorite things to do still. You know, moving up, to be honest, I had $250 to my name and was like, I remember having this conversation with you, Steve, personally, and was like, I'm moving to Byron, I'm going to start my business. And it was all a dream. It was all manifestation. It was, you know, we had this vision and we've got the grit. And I was like, other people are doing it, so can we. And
Yeah.
building the skills of being in the industry by this stage, 10 years, I had, you know, I definitely, you know, tried to get as many accreditations,
Mm.
rehab, mobility, you know, all the things that the fitness industry allows us to learn, was able to then take the leap. And I was ready. We were ready to take that leap. At this stage, Sammi was actually in events and an event coordinator at Elements of Byron up in Byron. And I said, Sammi, once you have this baby, you're not going back. You're not taking that.
Done with corporate world.
Done with corporate world. You're joining Peachy Fit. So I was able to, once I moved here, you know, I just started talking to the community. It was just one by one. It did mean before we had our PT studio, it was mobile. So I was doing PT sessions in my shared house, in my garage. I moved up with two pieces of equipment
That
I love it.
we still have.
Just
And
lean and mean. It's and like you're running a business, you're keeping fit yourself, you've still got, you know, a personal life. You've got partners, Sammi, you've got two kids, and you thought, you know what we'll do? Why don't we go and get another business?
was my fault.
Tell me about, so you've now also got a franchise business. For those people that sort of aren't aware of Strong, I'll pop it up on screen. I sort of looked into the business. I remember I felt like there was about 50 of these Strong Pilates studios open. Is that roughly accurate still? I know there's hundreds of them that have been
Probably
sort of
2 years
sold.
ago. 2 years ago it would have been about that number, yeah.
What is it now?
They're close to 83, I think, within Australia, and they've sold
Wow.
sites in the US,
Okay.
Dubai, Canada,
Japan.
Japan, New Zealand, Singapore. It's definitely on its way up based on all the things that it has to offer.
And like I've been in and tried a couple of classes. I go into any fitness business I can find. I'm curious to see what it is. My take on it was like 45 minutes, reformer Pilates, and you get the option to like row or cycle. So I was kind of on the cycle option with my
You
knees the
were
way
going
they
to go
are.
on the bike, Steve.
What's that?
I knew you were going to go on the bike.
Yeah, I'm probably stronger on the bike. I don't want to look too weak in front of everyone else. But it's yeah, so there's multiple classes, there's sort of music happening. What sort of drew you to that brand? Because Peach is a bit different to this one. I
Yeah.
love the branding, I love that sort of black and white boutique feel. And you've obviously you've maintained that kind of what Peach is all about with that more of that sort of organic stuff that you've had for years. But what drew you to Strong Pilates?
Well, firstly, I just by this stage had my second bub. We just bought a block of land, so we were actually living under my mum's house in a caravan. And I know one of the founders of Strong Pilates, Michael Ramsey, because we worked together on Hamilton Island. Now we're going back about 15 years ago. And he sent me via Instagram a 4-page PDF document of what Strong Pilates was. I'd opened this document and I just looked and I just had every fiber of my being say, yeah, this is something that I've not yet seen before. And what really stood out to me initially was guys and girls. You know, there's no gender persuasion specifics either side. It's
Yep.
hard. I was like, we train hard. It's got the weights, it's got the cardio, which we know is, really valuable, really important. It's got the 5 different class types. And I just had this feeling like someone is going to do this in Byron Bay, and it has to be us because it's a means that Peachy Fit can reach our wider community. Not everyone has the capacity to do one, personal training session a week, the
Yep.
luxury there. So I just showed my fiance and I showed Ellie. I said, guys, we're doing this. And their faces, I wish I recorded it. I'm like,
I'd love to be a
how? And
fly
I'm
on
like,
the wall when you two, one ropes
oh,
the other one in. It's
my
Oh,
poor
she's in, I'm in. I don't know if you're
we're doing this.
been like that since
We're doing this.
1991.
And yeah, we had an interview with Ramsey and his other business partner, Mark, and it really just resonated. Those guys are absolute legends. And what the whole brand represented, it really sat well with us. So we reserved the rights to Byron.
yep.
We were lucky because 5 investors at the least were very interested in Byron Bay. And I said, with all due respect, the other investors that's already got 4 sites in Sydney, he can keep Sydney. Who needs 5 of anything in life? This is our community. You need to know this community. And I feel like
Good sales pitch. I like it.
yeah, well, but to be honest, yeah, it was a means that we could reach the wider community here. We have had to leverage every single working organ to get here. It has been an absolute one day possibly write a book about the journey, but do you know what? I never had a doubt. I was like,
And I wouldn't regret it.
yeah, no, I'm so grateful for the whole process. I'm grateful for Strong as a brand. I'm grateful for every single person that steps into this studio daily. I'm grateful for my sister, our business partner, Audrey, my fiance, Dan, for always just following my goals, dreams, and ambitions. Grateful to my little family. They helped put together these reformers, which was a journey
Put them
too.
to work. I like it.
Yeah. Well, it got delivered. It was in what was it? It was like 700 tons of equipment were delivered at the loading dock, and there was 4 of us that delivered 3 different boxes that weighs 85 kilos each and we've got 19 reformers in our studio. Then we had to unpack those boxes. So we're talking now we've got 600 kilos of cardboard to the roof, and my little ones running around laughing. I could hear them, couldn't see them because they were playing cardboard cutout houses. It was just like,
It was a journey.
I think what I'm getting at is I've just been grateful to have, yeah, a partner and a sister and a community and clients that believe in us enough that see the results. And, you know, people often ask Ellie, what the hell are you girls training for? And we just smile and we just say, for life. Because you don't think about your 92-year-old self often, but that person is going to thank you later for all the effort and all the prioritizing you do on your training and your body now.
It's so inspiring. I'm scribbling down notes. I'm encouraging everyone, Shane, Dave, Anna, Kelly, Angie, just if there's questions you have as we go along, I'll try not to hog the mic throughout the day. So put it in the chat and I'll be sure to ask the girls. But um, I've written down a couple of things. Something that sort of resonated with me is that you've chosen Strong because you kind of connected to the model. And I think like Strong makes a lot of sense for you because you enjoyed doing some of that kind of strength-based training. You also had an interest in sort of Pilates. And I think the important thing for everyone is that you believe in your model. I think others that come in to trial our facilities, they can see straight through it. If you've ever been into a fitness center and you've done a trial somewhere else before, you sort of sense that, yeah, they're working here, but they might have been happy just working at Kmart. They don't really live and breathe it. And I sense that it was the right decision for you guys. It was the right brand for you guys because it actually enables you to sort of play in a space that you're really comfortable in. I like the analogy of jump off the cliff and sort of build your wings on the way down. You've sort of alluded to that a couple of times where you do bring a lot of passion and that kind of can do attitude. And I like the fact that although you don't have all the answers, there's a lot you can actually make up for with work ethic and with actually a willingness to learn like new skills. The last one I wanted to think, and we'll dive into this deeper, is that focus on community. I reckon Michael Ramsey's done a great thing in actually giving it to you because of the reasons you pitched to him. I think it's really easy for myself at my gym. I think it's really easy for everyone here to get locked away in your little admin room, hiding behind Instagram or hiding behind emails or your website or something, when out there is basically there's more than enough people to exercise. You can help them, they can help you. So I'm really curious to see the types of things you've done around community and that, and I'll circle back to that. Let me ask, so people that have never done like Strong Pilates before, what does it cost for someone to come in and actually do like training with you? What do you charge?
Two options. So especially being in Byron Bay, we're in such a transit town. So to be fair, sometimes we almost feel like we've split this business into two separate, basically targeting people on holidays, visitors to the Bay, as well
Okay.
as our local community. So for our local community, we've got two intro offers. It's $20 just for one class to try. Or the best is our $50 locals experience, which is where you can come in and try as many different class types, as many classes as you like, unlimited for 10 days.
Yes.
One's really popular, and that's one I really suggest to everybody because I let everyone know it's really going to take 3 to 5 goes for this to feel remotely second nature to you. You know, there's lights, there's trainers, there's tactile touch, there's weights. So making sure that you've got that capacity to really get a groove and find that all that Strong has to offer is important. And then we have a casual class, which is just $36 if you're visiting Byron. And we've also created a holiday maker pass. So we had a lot of people that were coming on holidays. We've made it $100 for unlimited classes for 10 days. So if you're in Byron for a week, you know, even if you get to 4 classes, you're only paying $25 a session instead of 36 each time.
Yeah.
That $100 holiday maker pass is less than our 5-pack. So
Yeah.
Notice
Okay.
once someone does one, they want to do 3 or 4 or
yeah,
5, and the programs are designed that they can come daily.
yeah.
So what would you say is kind of the average spend? Once people have done a trial, they love it, they sign up. What do they usually spend and how often would they come, like on average?
So we've got a few membership tiers, and this is one thing that is absolute paramount for our community. just to quickly touch on how we even run the managerial side is Audrey, our business partner, also instructor. So we're owner operators. She's in control and personally calls every single person that has come in for a locals experience. We ask them, how did you find it? How many times were you able to get to the studio? And how many times do you foresee this fitting into your life? Because Strong is a perfect complement to anything else as well. Some people do surfing, CrossFit. So we ask them, and most of the time it's like, oh yeah, I got to go 5 times a week. Reality is probably 3 times a week. Then we're like, perfect. So our unlimited membership is $79 a week, but you lock into 6 months, we discount that rate to $74 a week. Then once you get past that 6-month commitment, you stay on that $74 decreased membership amount for life. Within that time, we also are very lenient being in a transient town that if you're going away for work and holidays, we pause your membership. Because people do work away. I'm going away for 3 months. It's all good. As long as we know that when they come back to the Bay, they've got their place to train. We also created a 2-session-a-week membership, which is just $50 a week. So a little bit higher price point. It's only $25 per class, but you know, if you divide 74 by 4, you're paying less per class on the unlimited, but it's still a good price point if you just want to commit to that 2-session-a-week membership.
A great model, guys. It's there's a few things I love about it. I love the paid trials. I think you've only got so many reformer beds. There's only so much space. And if you're giving away freebies, you're going to get riffraff just coming in, wasting sort of space.
Yeah, and I think if people make that commitment to self already, they're like, I better show up.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's just the quality of sessions that we're giving to Steve. Like they're, you know, not only are they on these incredible machines, you know, that you can do so much on, they've got, you know, personal trainers that are, you know, we've got top of the range trainers. And the program and the designing of the program that changes every 4 to 12 weeks, you know, that the things that it's, you know, we're not going to sell ourselves short because we know and we believe the product is worth every single dollar, and they'll get the results. They'll come and see, and they do, and they feel it.
It's so easy to look around Byron, or for us to look around where we live and where our studio is and go, well, they're charging $30 a week. And you're like, oh, well, maybe I should do that. And if someone doesn't sign up this week in a trial, you're like, oh, are we charging too much? Is that our problem? I love the way you sort of got to that point where if the trainers are good enough and the session and the experience is good enough, you'll pay what you need to for it. There's enough people in that sort of price bracket. Guys, if you're listening, a couple of things that I love about this process so far. One is that kind of $50 price point. Let them come in and experience the service. Particularly for a model like Reformer Pilates. I know I only started it like 3 years ago myself. And I probably had an opinion of what I thought it was, you know, seeing a flyer or seeing it on TV or something. But until you do, I imagine, you know, CrossFit, and I imagine lots of fitness businesses must have a perception of what it is. But then you get in and you go, oh, I really like this. This is good. So that I love that. Number 2, I like with your price points, you're actually charging a premium. And I think we teach our prospects and we teach our local area how to treat us. If you mark yourself as the Aldi, like the cheapest shopping thing, people will behave like that and treat it like that one. I like that you're getting people to commit for sort of 6 months. You incentivize them to do it because we get enough time to work with them and actually like achieve something good. There was another one I wrote down is you make it easy for them to pause, because we've all had that experience with Fitness First where they keep charging us and then it's hard to get out, and you just got to be a little bit likable, because Byron Bay and even like everyone's area, everyone remembers you.
And again, being in the industry for so long, you kind of figure out what works and what doesn't, and asking them. I think just having, you know, we also offer the packs. So if they don't want the membership, they can come, you know, just on the packs and just use up those classes as they come as well. And sometimes that works for people. It depends on their personality too, Steve. Like some people want that commitment and to keep themselves accountable, or you've still got the ones that are just like, no, I am happy with my 20 pack and I'm just going to use it when I can. you know,
And
and
they obviously pay a premium for the pack type thing, but that might be less resistance. Just get them involved, get them sort of moving. Um, yeah, it's so good. How many members, like roughly, have you got that come in sort of training each week?
Yeah, and just quickly on the price point too, I think just to touch on, just so everyone's aware, we are paying the highest rent out of any other strong in Australia, and we are one of the smallest studios.
What do you
So,
pay? Can you share that? Is that
well, look, Strong Pilates, like you need about 300 square meters.
yeah, okay.
We're on 240 square meters, so we don't have a reception space as such. You kind of walk in straight to the studio. But ours is very boutiquey and a little bit cool and a bit edgy, which is a good point of difference.
very much us.
Yeah, very much us. We did have to negotiate really hard to the point that, Rams and a few HQ were like, I wouldn't go over 11 grand a month, like that's too much. And we're well above that. So I
Yep.
think to exist in Byron, to be within a brand new build, to be able to comply with council, to have the DA approval to start our classes at 5:15.
Car parking.
Yeah, all of the facilities within this space, yes, we're paying a premium, but we're giving our clients this incredible experience as well. And we knew what our break even was. So when we opened almost 2 years ago, we opened in May. We knew we had to get like 120 members to even break even,
Okay.
So
Yep.
I think that was kind of like the pressure straight away. And to be completely honest with you, Steve, since just knowing that kind of number, once we got to that break-even point, I have honestly not looked at where our member numbers sit each week. And I know this might alarm some other
And it's
people.
because the stress comes off. You know that you're
Well,
paying yourself wages, you know that you've got, people in the classes, but it's I'm just glad you knew what that number was. It's
yeah,
there's obviously a certain level of confidence in backing each other, and you both seem really strong-willed where you'll go, yep, we're doing it. At the same time, it wasn't just kind of ad hoc. You knew exactly what your break-even point was. Let's race to that as fast as we can.
yeah, and I think
Um,
that was always in the background. But then for me, it was how full are the classes? We've got 19 reformer beds. I think we had the smallest class I taught was three people at 5:15 when we first 5 p.m. when we first opened.
yep.
We've had to put on more classes recently at 1:30 and at 6:30. We now have 64 classes a week. Our
Wow.
classes are waitlisted. Our weekend for this Saturday and next Saturday is already booked out. So to be completely honest with you, that's my focus.
Yeah.
If our classes are full and if people are making that commitment, we release our schedule 2 weeks in advance. People are pre-booking to pick their bike or their rower 2 weeks in advance to get into those classes.
Yeah.
That's the indication that we're doing right. There is no me, like every week I don't know, and I choose to just not know
Yep.
where our figures are at because I don't want people to feel like they're a number because they're
Yeah.
not.
Focus
How
on the
they
people and the
feel,
product.
yeah, how they feel walking out that door, spent, sweatier, but damn
Yep.
accomplished, and how full the classes are, and how much people want to be part of our photo shoot. I ended up getting a whole group of guys in strong branded sluggos at the beach because they wanted to be part of a photo shoot. Like, I think people, yeah, wanting to book in advance, people asking us for stickers, like, we are just so honored and so proud. So since opening, obviously we weren't at our break even initially yet, but I think we've almost tripled that. So, if
Yeah.
we opened around the 100 member mark, our goal is to hopefully, yeah, get to that tripled mark. But again, I'm not even focusing on ensuring we call a certain amount of people per week. Like we know how many new members we have walking through that door. We know
Yep.
where they're from. We know the history of their body. We
Their
know their
holidays.
holidays. Like we are genuinely invested in people.
Yes.
And we celebrate these little wins with them. Like, are they increasing that flywheel setting on their damper because they're getting stronger? Are they dropping down to that yellow spring in their core? We can literally see it and feel it, and we're on this journey with them. So
we also celebrate when they've done 50 classes, 100 classes, and we've just reached, not open. We haven't been open for 2 years yet, but we've had 2 members reach their 400 classes.
Yeah,
Oh
400.
my God.
400 club. So,
Oh my God.
and
They
they're, and
probably
they're, they're
own
50s in their 50s.
half of your house.
Yeah.
You guys are great. Like, I I think sometimes we just get caught up so much in the outcome.
Mm.
I compare it to like training for a marathon or something like that. If all you focus on is the time you finish in and you focus on getting to the finish line, it's it's actually really tough mentally, and it doesn't actually serve you well at kilometer number 5 and kilometer number 10. It doesn't serve you well in the 6 months in preparing for it. What does serve you well is having like a plan to follow and focusing on the habits week to week that actually enable you to perform well at the marathon. And I think it's there's yeah, I can tell there's 64 classes under 2 years. You're in the top five in the brand. I can see the brand's going super, super well. But I love that. That's off the back of actually focusing on the quality of the education of your trainers, off the focus around your members and knowing stuff about them. I think that's a huge takeaway. I'm being really greedy. Let me ask a couple of questions that have come from the group. Laura's got a PT Pilates studio. She's based in Strathfield in Sydney. Do you have a policy for people with the unlimited membership who cancel or no show at the
Yeah.
last minute? Is there like a booking or a penalty, or how do you handle it?
Yeah, so our app, so the easiest way to book in for Strong Pilates is utilizing the app. We do have a 3 hour late cancellation policy. So ours is probably the shortest out of most of the other Strongs, being that we know our community, being in such a transient town, we want people to feel like they are in control. So if you late cancel within 3 hours of the start class time,
Yep.
there's a $15 late cancel fee
Yep.
or a $15 no-show. And
Yep.
that
Okay.
is only applied if the class is booked out or waitlisted.
Okay.
So basically, it's just to ensure that someone else's spot doesn't go empty, that someone else is on a wait list to hopefully take.
Oh
So if
yeah.
someone stopped someone else from training and only giving them less than 3 hours notice, then yeah, we have to penalize people. And look, some people, let us know, oh my gosh, like this happened, life happens. We are so lenient in that sense. But at the same time, we do stick to that too because there's not too many repeat offenders.
No.
But yeah, it's purely just to
And
ensure
that's
they're also making the commitment. If you've booked, the world has
Yeah.
to stop. You need to prioritize you because a 45-minute workout is only 3% of your day. And we know life
Yes.
happens and family happens, but if you give to you, then you feel good, then just watch the rest of your life turn into good? So it's
Yeah.
also making sure that they have that little draw card to get them there.
and having and talking about waitlisting, like when Sammy mentions waitlist, that's actually 10 people deep. And that's 2 weeks in advance. So, having that late cancellation or, that does allow those people to jump in and they do
Yep.
get filled.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Waitlist.
think it's essential. If you've got a limited number of beds, reformer beds, if you're a restaurant, you've got a limited number of tables, you have to have some money on the line. And to your point, Sammy, it actually encourages them to have good habits, to prioritize it. They're probably like, oh, I've got physio and I've got other stuff. It's like, well, prioritize this one and yeah, maybe park the physio.
And you know what
If
the
you
more
add strong, you won't need the physio, Steve.
exactly the more
You
you do, the less physio appointments you'll need.
Yeah.
You too. Naturally, you spoke about the smiling assassin title. Sammy,
Language.
before, without even noticing, you were talking about like the trial and what was the most popular. And I love the language. And you genuinely believe that that's the best experience, not because you make the most money, not because it's all about if you actually come and do a number of visits, that's when you'll experience the product the way it's meant to be experienced.
Oh,
And
100%. And
I
every
can
day.
feel it. It doesn't feel salesy because it's from the right spot.
From the
Thank you.
heart.
Yeah. And you know what?
Yeah.
It's how many people can we impact today?
Yep.
And how many people are we going to give a workout that's worthy of advocacy that they go home to their partners or they go to work and everyone's like, wow, like you look really great. And the best thing is people can train with their partners. We've got father and sons and daughters training, husbands and wives training. And I'm like, yes, I'm the third wheel on your double date. This is 3 weeks in a row for 5:30s on Wednesday afternoon. Lara and Matt Fells, you know who I'm talking about. I'm like, yes, guys, you're making this happen. Like, it's I'm really grateful for that on a daily basis, that's for sure.
And they're all epic humans.
Yeah.
And I think it's just part of the community that you build and building the rapport. That was one thing that you always taught me, Steve. It's just like building that rapport and knowing each other, and then giving a product that you genuinely believe in. And I think having the passion in this industry, like we have it for our own bodies, but to be able to share and see the progression and see people growing, not just mentally, physically, emotionally, like it's helping people through their lives. It's, you know, we've had so many successful stories just in under these 2 years. Like one of our members was nearly having to have a hip replacement and a knee replacement. And he said, guys, I just want to thank Strong Byron. I no longer need the 2 surgeries anymore. And, you know, like that just really makes us with happiness, because that's just one person that we're making an impact on. And everyone can feel this way. Yeah, we're just super, super grateful. And it's definitely our happy place.
It's taken a lot of grit, it's taken a lot of hard work. And like, we do pick out our trainers, you know, and we are only as good as our lowest hanging fruit. So
I agree.
We're only as good as we can give it. And we are so different. Like, you know, everyone wants to come to Ellie's classes to get Ellie. And then some people want to come to me. And then Audrey, like you've got to come to Audrey if you genuinely just want to be laughing the whole time, to be distracted out of that core burnout. And, you know, so our girls are so phenomenal, and we want to also nourish and honor them because they just show up time and time again. And yeah, we're only as good as our team too. And we have picked them on purpose, and Strong have Strong Academy. So they, you know, the training is intense because what we do in a class is intense. We do tactile touch. We're telling you what muscles you're going to work and why. We're telling you what's next, so you can mentally prepare yourself to know that there's only 30 more seconds left in that course. So give it everything.
Keep
because
going.
We're moving onto legs. Like there is a lot involved, but the more you do, the more you get to know it. You realize why. With the professional athletes curating the programs, you know, I'm instructing people and I'm saying the strongest version of you is worth it, because nothing is as good as fit, healthy, and strong feels. And when you feel that, that's the addiction. And then, you know, we've got our 5:15ers. They're like, I'm talking they're Lennox mums that get up, that drive 20 minutes on the coast road to get here to work out. They're done by 6 a.m. They get home by 6:30, just as the kids are waking up. And I'm like, they stand out to us. Then we know our crew now at 6:30ers. We know our 9:30ers. Like, yeah, there's little tribes that are coming. And then if someone shows up at a different time on a different day, it's like, what? But yeah, it's becoming into their way of life. And I feel
even tradies, like, you know, a lot of tradies, we know that have bad backs and, you know, like from the tool belts and the heavy boots all day, you know, the guys are turning up. You know, I think last Tuesday I had 9 men in it was a loaded lower class. So, you know, they're about to train legs and core. And I had like 9 guys in here just high-fiving, hey, mate, how you going? And, you know, they're done by 6 a.m. But I was like, good work, fellas, because now everything's switched on. You've given to yourself and you can still be on the work site by 7.
Safe, injury-free. And I tell you know, yeah, we've got dumbbells here from 2 kilos up to 35 kilos. So I also let everyone know, like, you can go as little or as hard as you want. Everyone's like, how hard is a strong workout? Like, well, how hard do you want it to be?
What are you lifting? Yeah.
You know, well,
so
you can cheat a squat, you can go lower, you can go slower. So, you know, that time under tension, we love to build in every exercise we do. But there's
so good. I've got another question for you.
Yes.
This one's from Kelly. I imagine you've got a bunch of other Pilates, yoga, stretch type services available in Byron Bay. How do you get people to see the benefit of your type of Pilates?
Get them in the door.
Yep.
And we know them. We know the local businesses, and to be honest, everyone's got their. It's definitely, and obviously having Peachy Fit and having another fitness business in such a small coastal town, literally town of, you know, population of 30,000 is still so small. But I feel like we've been swimming in our own lane, and having the ability to come to Strong, they've actually been wanting to come. One, they've already kind of knew Audrey, Sammi, and I, and Dan as business owners, but they're wanting to come in the door and experience, one, what all the talk about is, and two, because it's still something different. Even though that they're teaching their yoga or mat Pilates, or they're doing CrossFit and doing their strength and conditioning, they still come to Strong and want to be part and participate in it or get their members to trial it because it's still a different product. And I feel like, you know, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty. And that's why I think it's done so well in a small town. Our product is still different. So we haven't been afraid of another gym opening up 200 meters down the road. And we've got Pilates, yoga, 24-hour gyms literally surrounding us only 2 minutes away, Steve. So, but it hasn't.
Yeah, you can only get
doesn't matter.
No,
you can only strong workout on a row former, and Strong are innovating, you know, innovating with technology, innovating with the reverse springs. So I just feel like it's a one-stop shop for strength and conditioning, a little bit of cardio, just your classic Pilates if you want just the Pilates only, and team camaraderie. And we let everyone know, like, lots of people do other things, and that's okay.
Yes.
I feel like some people are like, oh, but I only do this or I only do that. It's like, you're allowed, you know, this
I think that's
everything.
smart. Like they might do 3 sessions with you and they might be a runner, or they might do CrossFit or something. I don't think we're in competition with these other businesses.
We encourage that still. We encourage still to do the yoga and but I feel like also with Strong, Steve, it's low impact. This is where, as you would know, been in the industry for so long, and I feel like you got to train with where your body's at, with the age that you're at. You know, me personally, what I was doing when I was 20 is different to what I'm doing in my 30s. And, you know, and I know seeing what people are doing in their 60s, you know, depends on, you know, you can't always do the high impact jumping, you know, it's too much stress on the body. So I feel like with Strong as well, they're getting the Pilates component, they're getting the low impact on the rower and the bike as an option. So yeah, I feel that's
really I love that. I think the more people that participate doing something, they're generally, even if they're not using your service now, they'll probably circle around at some point and try it. And I think everyone can sort of coexist. And I think we have to be enemies with our fitness people across the road. It's a good question, Kelly. I think, like, circling back to what the girls are saying, they actually know their strengths and they know what their specific model is really good at. And I think helping people just find your tribe. There's you know, if there's 30,000 people of there and 500 of them came to your gym, it literally just shut down. It'd be too busy. You don't need everyone. You know, if someone's doing CrossFit or whatever, it's cool. More questions. Anna's got a Pilates studio. She's based in Sydney. Do you think at this point, if you were doing this solo, not as business partners? So something I'll add there, Anna. So off air, or before we started hitting record, the girls shared with me that they've got the 2 businesses. One's more of like a personal training, bit of sort of outdoors. This one's a franchise and it's Strong Pilates. But Ellie, I think you said that one of you spends 5 days in Strong and then 1 day in Peachy, and then the other does 5 days in Peachy and 1 day in Strong. So you're actually sort of separating the roles a little bit across it. So hopefully, Anna, that sort of helps you to understand there's a couple of businesses here. Any thoughts? Like, do you see yourselves, do you like working as a partnership? Do you ever stop and think, oh, maybe one of us should just do one and the other one should do the other?
Never.
No? Okay.
I think we're very lucky to have someone that's got the passion and the grit for Peachy Fit. I learned from Ellie. Ellie was in the fitness industry before me, and just watching her do all that she does and then build that rapport and build that clientele was incredible. Like I said, to get Strong, then this opportunity, we knew that one of us would have to walk away. So Ellie is predominantly, 90% Peachy Fit. Then I also knew that I can't take on all that Strong Pilates is on my own. My fiance has also got his own solar installation company locally, and we've got the 2 kids. So we are so happy to have Audrey as our business partner, one of our greatest assets. She's like our third sis basically, and just puts in as much passion. So I am at Strong the 5 days and then at Peachy Fit 1 day, plus mum life in amongst that, plus trying to train myself in amongst that. So the juggle is absolutely real, but we just live and breathe it and love it. And Audrey and I split the managerial role between us. And we also teach about 14 classes each a week. And then between Audrey, Ellie and I, we rotate every 3rd Saturday. So
It's
we,
it's definitely doable, but remember when you were sort of, I don't know, you're in your 20s, you might have juggled work and study, or you might have juggled, sport and then getting to work, whatever. It's definitely doable. What I like is that you two are so super clear on who's doing what. And I think that's where it gets complicated. If there's a gray area and one's looking over their shoulder of the other one with criticism, or if one's doesn't really put enough trust in that person to do their role and instead just kind of support them, I think that's where you hit that sort of conflict. But you
you got to work
are,
through your strengths and yeah, like
yeah,
put up your hand, like I'm passionate in this, like I'll do all this, I do all the sales and marketing to get people into the door. Behind the Instagram is me, where
yeah,
Audrey's doing all that client retention, calling people. She's
jumps on the
doing all the
phone. Yep.
staffing and the scheduling. That's her. She's passionate about that. So yeah. And then Ellie, I still do like the backmin admin and the socials and stuff for Peachy Fit. And together we do the PT, but then Ellie and our other personal trainer at Peachy Fit, Jay, they'll run the outdoor boot camps as well when we've got the
And
capacity to.
I'll
So
still do like the inquiries and things like that. But
yeah,
I think just believing in each other and sharing those roles, working with each other's strengths. Sammy has that business degree and has that, the marketing, like she's so good at it. And same with Audrey, she's so good with the sales. And I'll be there as that support. I'll do the class covers, or I think if you work as a team and you support each other, you work with your weaknesses and your strengths, there's no way it can't work.
but just on that too, just quickly what you said, like I think one difference we do at Strong Pilates Byron Bay is we are personable. We have not outsourced to other sales companies, even with pre-opening. Even now, we're like, no, it just needs to be us. It's more authentic that way. We
Yep.
want people to see that and feel that, and I think that is also a difference. Yeah, we've made that
Yeah.
choice. We want to,
I'm the
yeah,
same. I just
yeah,
think that's their first interaction with the brand. And I
yeah.
think, like, if they don't breathe it and believe in it, if they don't have an experience in Pilates, or if they haven't used the product and they're just selling, although there's some transfer of sales, I just think it's different. I think you're better off actually just speaking with sort of passion and as opposed to templated sort of salesy type stuff.
And I think like it's not even just because of Byron. I feel like I've been able to do this even with just growing my own PT business. It's not being too pushy. It's again believing in your product and getting to know the person. And we just knew, even the way that Strong did it, we as Byron changed it and we just said,
It's
look,
fine. Yep.
but we don't want to be too pushy, especially before before we even opened our
Pre-sales. Yep.
pre-sales and everything. It was us doing the calls behind the scenes, and it still is. It's still Audrey, but I feel like, yeah, the less pushy. And in our town, we knew they wouldn't like it. And even, for example, our newsletters, it goes out once a month. They're
Mm.
not getting emails from Strong Byron weekly, daily pushes. Like that's what social, the Instagram is great for that.
Mm.
But the
Yeah, not overkill it.
not
Not,
overkill.
yeah.
And we've got so much, we're so distracted. There's so much out there that
Yep.
people end up swapping and changing all the time. I feel like if they feel comfortable, they feel held, they're getting the results, they stay consistent, without the push of whether they're going to stay as members or not.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
refreshing when there's so much push in the industry. It sort of creates a point of difference. So just to recap for the guys that are maybe watching the video later, um, I love that you're still client facing at the start of their experience. I love that you guys take classes. I love that you're involved in the marketing and the sales. At the same time, although you don't sort of outsource it, you obviously do have the opportunity to involve other staff members. So if you believe that one of your staff align with the same values of the company, if they've got good energy, if they speak with passion, obviously they can do that role. I know Ellie used to do it at Monaval when you're part of our team, because you're very similar to my wife Anna. You would speak your mind, you'd smile, you'd make them feel welcome. So it doesn't always have to be the owner doing all roles at all times, but it's maintaining that quality control. And
Yeah.
yeah, your fear, Sammy, is a real one that if you just offload it to someone and you think, oh, it'll be easy, I will get a company to ring everyone. I think it's risky because there's only so many people in Byron that once you've rung them all and annoyed them enough and done the fitness first style sort of people are like this brand. I like once it's dead, it's dead. You poison the well. So
Yeah.
um
And look, like
quick
people,
question for you.
oh yeah, go for it.
What is one thing you've learnt in business that you wish you knew at the start?
Good one.
Expect the unexpected.
Mm,
Have your tribe and support because you
You're going to have some lows.
don't go into it if you're not willing and able to live and breathe it. So I think that Strong Pilates and Peachy Fit is a success because we live and breathe it. We are genuinely wanting to be here every day. We had everything possibly go wrong in our opening weekend here at Strong Pilates. I'm
I can
talking
laugh now.
flood. I'm talking sound system, Raspberry Pi just faulty. Dan had to DJ the Sunday of our opening. The actual app system went down, so we couldn't even sell a product. Ellie and I, yeah, we abruptly lost our dad 6 months prior to opening. We still had to do academy. We still had to do the hiring. We still had to do the building of these reformers. I still had little ones, and I'm talking little. But we had each other
Yeah.
and we just had the passion. If you're
yeah,
not passionate, what is the point? You
yeah.
know, we genuinely still every day. I actually started my class before this. It was like, all right, guys, welcome to your 1:30 Pilates only. Thank you for making me be part of your day. Because whatever's happening in life, everyone has got life. Everyone has got the bang ups and the hang ups. They chose to come here at 1:30 to be trained by me. Like
I
I'm
love the warts and all story. I think people have a perception that they click on Instagram and they go, you know, Strong Pilates Byron Bay. These guys are flying. Everything must have worked really well for them. They just found the site. It was ready to go like that. And you've
no,
told
we
us
have
that
had
rent
no
was expensive. Told us you've had not one thing challenge you, but multiple. And I think that's important, but as you expect the unexpected, you actually anticipate there's going to be stuff all the time that comes up, but it's kind of how you respond that obviously matters.
100%.
You
100%.
and you learn from it, Steve. Like,
Yeah,
you know, you learn from the little hiccups and it's how you react to it. You know,
Yeah.
you can throw in the bag and go, it's too hard. The build went over budget.
I'm working 14 hours a day. Oh my God, my feet are killing me. My voice is sore. I've spoken so much. I've instructed. Oh my God, the kids need me. What else? You know, we give, we give, we give.
Yeah.
Positive.
But
What about you, Ellie? Is there something you've learned that you wish you knew at the start? If you've gone through the trials and tribulations, anything that stands out for you?
Oh, look, I think, you know, the probably the toughest thing is having that belief and having that leap and the net will appear. I think a lot of people, that's probably, it's felt uncomfortable. It's felt like, how am I going to afford this?
yeah,
You know, backing myself. Do I have the knowledge? Do I have, you know, like, but I think just staying positive, having that faith, you know, putting in the grit, the sweat, the tears to the point where I'm laughing because I'm like, if I don't laugh, I'll cry. Putting in the long hours, as you know, as a business owner, it's not 9 to 5, especially in the PT industry. It's
Yeah.
working 7 days a week. You actually have less time. But again, having that passion. Look, Steve, I don't know. There's even doing, you know, people think we're crazy having one business and then opening and then having two just to put in less time for ourselves. But look, there's not a huge big one that stands out for me because each journey's been different
Yep.
um and it's how we've dealt with them when it's been thrown at our face. And
Yeah, good.
I think a big one for us at Strong here too is we had no investors. I think, you know, yeah, we haven't been spoon-fed any of it. It's literally been ground up, and it's literally going to pay off these bad boys for the next 7 years of our life. You know, it's
I
like,
kiss them.
yeah, we're reinvesting anything that we've got, like Peachy Fit. Once we could, we bought more equipment. We've got a better assault bike. Now we've got the rower. Now we've got an extra squat rack. We've got a lat pull, like cable
Yeah,
machine.
Peachy Fit's has never had a business loan, you know,
Yeah,
we've done it ourselves.
we've done it
Oh,
ourselves from the bit of savings. We've built it up with enough clientele that we've saved it to the point that we needed a better studio, so we've moved. And then the fit out costs, because then you've got to move and paint and flooring and all of that. We've done it actually ourselves, plus the help of our fiance, pretty much. That's pretty much got a two package deal. Pretty much. Yeah, like having someone that's there, all right, yeah, I believe in you guys is, yeah, been an absolute win. And just reinvesting, because we're not necessarily doing it. Honestly, I'm not even doing it from that business perspective. Like, I knew Strong was going to come to Byron. I knew it had to be us, our team, because I knew we've got the passion and I knew we could do it the best. I knew that if an investor could have it happen, because they've worked hard in their worlds to create the ability to invest.
Yep.
I just felt that if it was just a manager and just
a different
not
feel, isn't it?
yeah, like we know what it takes to do a class. We can jump in if someone needs a cover. Like, it's just, I feel that that's probably makes us shine and makes us stand out. We do a stretch at the end just because we want to replenish all those major muscles worked. You know, we want a little bit of zen before the world wants a piece as soon as you step out that door. So I just think, yeah, nourishing that community, nurturing ourselves, leaning into our strengths, you know, leveraging everything. Like, we have leveraged hard to the point that we cannot anymore, but I do it 10 times over because there's nothing else I'd rather be doing.
You only get one shot.
Yeah.
You guys are doing such a good job. I'm conscious of your time. Quick fire answers for me.
Yeah.
What are some things you've done in the community that have encouraged people to know about the brand, maybe come in and check you guys out? What's an example of something you've done locally?
We like to work with local brands. So we've got the cafe.
Yeah, Bay Grocer.
Oh, Bay Grocer, sorry, meant to blank. Bay Grocer, that's just there. They've got a strong smoothie on their menu. Do strong social every quarter. So we want to incorporate different businesses. We've had sound healing here, or is coming up next week, as a little free thank you for our members that have just participated and completed the latest challenge. So we want to kind of lean in and bring in other businesses or clients' businesses into events or into awareness. Yeah, we've got our 100 club socks, our 200 club socks that we just want to keep as a little bit client retention, like we just like as a little give back. I think that that's probably how we're involving the community the most.
And every time, like, you know, as much as we get them strong and doing the classes, and but we also encourage about mobility and longevity, and encourage to use the local osteos and physios and you know, things like that on that side of things as well, that we then offer as part of free sessions, like mobility and foam rolling sessions, you know, like that are free.
Yeah, we bring our personal training experience into this so that, you know, our strong clients can actually also experience what it is than what we do in our Peachy Fit personal training sessions. So just a few value adds in there because they deserve it. They're going hard. They've got that commitment. They've stayed true. And yeah,
they've chose to have a membership with us. So it's our way to say thank you to them.
Yeah. You guys have been amazing. I have taken enough of your time. I know you're probably on the tools again this afternoon with classes about to start. Thank you so much for sharing with us your story. And I feel like it's like the first two chapters of this book. I'd love to do this again in a couple of years and hear a little bit more about your sort of story. But you guys are going so well. I love the partnership. I love the passion. It's quite refreshing to just see the way you choose to go about business as opposed to getting, I guess, all caught up in that sort of corporate approach to fitness and over the top kind of salesy stuff. It doesn't really align with what I like or what I sort of do. So I'm inspired by you guys. Congratulations with all your success so far. Keep up the good work and don't be strangers. Let's catch up.
Thanks,
For
Steve.
sure.
Yeah.
Thanks so much
Bring
for
your
your
wife on a
time.
holiday.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I would love to do
everyone's
that.
welcome. Come if you're in Byron, come meet us, come say hello.
Yes.
And then yeah, you're welcome to come into our studio and like we say, like, you know, if we can give that motivation for people to stay, you know, healthy and strong and
Live out their best life, longevity.
yeah.
Such an inspiration. Congratulations, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Steve. See you, legend. See you,
See you.
guys.
See you so much. All right,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.